Muy bien, pues estamos en directo, chicos. Vale. Bueno, vamos allá, chicos. Vamos allá, chicos, chicos. Vale, estamos ya en directo.
I think it's safe to rest here now.
Y estamos en el sitio donde teníamos que ir. Voy a ponerlo yo por aquí, a ver qué tal se me oye y se me escucha. A ver. Vale, a ver qué tal se me oye. Hola. Vale, a ver qué tal se me oye. Hola. Bien. Bien. Venga, va.
Looks like we get to sleep with a
Vámonos.
roof over our head.
Ve a Ulceber. Estoy en Ulceber, así que vamos a ver qué pasa. ¡Ulceber! Vamos a darle caña, chicos.
Ah, Calaglia. Feels like it's been ages.
And wasn't Zephyr with us too?
Dad.
Hey, chin up. This is your hometown. Everyone around here looks so much happier than they used to.
I'll say. It feels like an entirely different place. I suppose it's had time to adjust to its newfound freedom.
Zephyr would have been so happy to see this.
Yeah, he really would have. Especially if he knew Law was... Law? Something bothering you, Law?
Nah, I'll be fine. It's just, you know,
It still weighs on you, does...
I abandoned my home. Then when I finally come back, it's been liberated. What's important is that it's free. I get that, I do. I just...
Muy bien. Vale, de estas misiones secundarias, bueno, creo que tengo esta, pero bueno, no creo que vaya a hacerme ya muchas. ¿Sabéis? Voy a ir aquí a ver qué pasa. Si no la peña, pues lo que pasa, que las misiones secundarias...
Just one thing after another, and it all falls on my head to...
Hey, Nath.
What? Can't you see I'm... Alphin?
Looks like you have your hands full.
As much as ever. As if I wasn't busy enough putting down the last remnants of Renan rule, I'm up to my ears in Dahna disputes. And then, to top it all off, that thing had to come crashing down from out of the sky.
Pretty sure we've heard this somewhere before.
But enough about my problems. What can I help you with?
Yeah, we're looking for an old Renan starship. You wouldn't happen to know any around these parts, would you?
A starship? What do you need one of those for?
To get to Lenegis.
Lenegis? Are you out of your damn mind?
Believe it or not, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've done recently.
Oh, I believe it. Well, either way, I'm afraid I haven't heard anything about a starship.
Then do you have any historical records by chance?
Sure, we've got stacks of old records.
Mind if we take a look at them?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nath.
Esto tenemos que encontrar, pues si acaso hay alguien ahí que no lo sabe. Tenemos
I
que
read through all of the
encontrar la
records,
nave en
but I
donde
only found
vino
a single line that might point
hace
to what we're
3000
looking for.
años. Donde
It
vino
mentions a
Alfred.
rock that shot across the sky and landed past the mountains. The event was recorded just before the first Renan invasion.
And you think that might be the starship?
I don't know. There was nothing else in the records that came even close. It looked like it was someplace called Berg, but maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Berg?
That ring any bells for you?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest volcanoes in Calaglia. I was just there recently, investigating a report of a meteor.
Another meteor in the same area?
I wonder if it could have been one of those lights that shot out of the wedge.
All the more reason to check it out. Can you tell us how to get there?
The old Zion mine is up that way. One of the veins we abandoned connects to the volcano. Go ahead and use that.
O sea, hay que ir
But
por
you
allá.
should be careful.
Huh?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the meteor. But there's a giant Zoogle running riot in there. Never seen anything like it.
A Zoogle, huh?
Zeule es bastante
I turned
grande,
back as soon as I
¿eh?
caught sight of the thing, so I can't tell you much more. Just be real careful if you head out that way.
Vale, pues vamos a por él, chicos.
All right.
I guess...
Vale, vamos. Hay que ir hacia esta zona. Lan, ¿estás bien?
Right.
Genial, pues nada, vamos allá.
I didn't like the sound of that monster Nath was talking about one bit.
Everything okay with Hootle, Rinwell?
It must be the heat getting to him. We don't get these kind of temperatures back in Cislodia.
Galaglians born and raised here struggle with it too, so it's no surprise.
Aha! So that's why his plumage is so white.
Actually, Dan and owls absorb the astral energy of whatever land they're raised in. Where they're born doesn't affect, but that's not why he's white. The real reason is that he's still just a baby.
You mean their plumage changes color depending on where they grow up? Weird.
And with all this traveling we've been doing, it wouldn't surprise me if his
pues
wings
al
ended
final
up
me
looking
quedé
like a
solo otra vez.
colorful painting.
Genial.
I think he suits his snowy complexion.
Hola Irene, muy buenas.
It'll feel strange to see
Guapetona,
him
muchas
change.
gracias por pasarte.
How awesome would it be if his head and wings were different colors? And his
Esto
stomach
cada
and
vez va
sides,
peor,
like
te
a
lo
map
juro,
of our
tío. Sin
travels!
mandar todo al carajo. De verdad.
Ow, lay off, will ya? So much for the heat making him docile!
You've only yourself to blame for that one. Hootle takes pride in his appearance, you know.
Está acojonante, tío.
Fascinating. An appreciation of aesthetic beauty in an owlet so young.
Dohalim, I think you've drawn his attention.
Vale, vámonos, tío. ¿Dónde es? Ha dicho que era por las minas del rey Salomón, ¿no? No sé, ¿desfiladeros? No sé si será por aquí. Hola Manuel, bienvenido, muchas gracias por pasarte, tío. Desfiladero. Túneles de la mina. No puede ser, ¿no? Por cierto, tengo a este tío. Tengo... ¿Dónde estaba? Aquí. Vale, a ver.
You can tell it's tough just looking at it.
Vamos a por él. Yo creo que ahora sí, por 43.
Let's see what you've got.
Take this!
I think I'll pass on the handshake. This one's mine.
Aim for the weak rupture.
Hola Yolanda, bienvenida, muchas gracias por pasaros, Se agradece un montón, chicos.
I'm grateful.
Anything in armor is all mine! Carve through armor! Make of the abyssal creature us a path! Can't get out of this!
One more. Not on my watch.
Rising Viper! Here I come! Lunar Rongo!
Healing art.
Reflect on thy sin!
Raging
My right spear!
Flight. Spirit flame. Reload.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Raging storm. Mega ray.
Rising Viper! Lunar Rongo!
Razor cyclone.
Soaring Light Spear!
Dance in the wind.
Venga, va. Me voy a vengar de ti, capullo.
Not ever the abyssal creature us a path! Lunar Rongo!
Forgive me.
Now you see what I can do!
Thanks. This one's mine. Thanks so much. Back from death's abyss. Resuscitation.
Quitarme, capullo. Ahí está.
Lunar Rongo! Soaring Light Spear! Here I come! Rending you apart! Rising Viper! Let's try harder! Rising Viper! Lunar Rongo!
No.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
They smite with
Thanks so much.
Anything in armor is all mine.
Here's the evil. Thanks so much.
carve through armor. In a vine.
Thunder Burn
hell.
Hear my call. Sleep now.
Soaring light spear.
Ready to go.
The tempest engulfs you.
Winglander.
Rising Viper. It's wide open. It won't escape me.
Burning in here.
Rising
Hear
Viper.
my call. Over the stop time.
Rising
Venga,
Viper.
vamos.
This is looking good. You pay for that. Kisara, Commander of Heaven.
Venga, buena.
Phoenix Cyclone.
Let me help.
In a vine.
First aid.
Anything in armor is all mine.
Here's a healing art.
Vamos a resucitar. Poción vital. A Ringwell. Vamos, Ringwell. Sube para arriba. Venga, vamos, que ya casi la tenemos, ¿eh? La venganza se sirve en un plato duro. ¿En un plato duro? No, en un plato frío. ¡Vamos ahí! ¡Dame tu fuerza, Pegaso! Ahí está. Venga, pim, pam, pim, pam, pim. Vamos.
Benediction light. You're mine. Thanks. Take this. I can carve through armor.
If it's in the sky, it's mine.
No, it won't end like this.
Stay away from my friend. Take this. From beyond. Imbued with from beyond. Rising Viper. Lunar Rondo.
¡Oh, la Sion está muerta! Poción vital.
Ancient ruin. It's in your hands now.
Venga, vamos, vamos, vamos. Hostia, el otro se la han cargado ahora otra vez. Me cago en la madre que los parió. Poción vital. ¡Vamos, Dualí! ¡Dualipa! ¡Vamos, Dualipa! ¡Cago en la leche!
Any more of this and I'll burn out.
Necesito. ¿Qué necesito? Gel. Gel piña, no, gel uva. Gel uva. ¡Oh, no, gel uva! No, gel, no. Gel de naranja, ¿dónde está? ¿No tengo? Ah, aquí. Venga, que ya está casi, vamos. Aguantar aquí como unos campeones. Vamos.
Can't get out of this.
Didn't think you had it in you.
Focus. There'll be time to congratulate me later.
Nothing much I can say to that.
I couldn't make it in time.
¡Oh! Me ha matado. Poción vital. Venga, vamos, que ya es nuestro, ¿eh? Vamos, que ya es nuestro. Venga, que ya está casi. Ya eres nuestro, amigo. Ahí estamos. Con un par, sí señor. Toma ya. Capullo. Madre mía. Vale, genial. Se acabó.
With this, I can become even stronger.
Bien. Bueno, vámonos a descansar. Vale. Qué guapo, qué combate, tío. Vamos a ver. Vale, y nada, estos son ya piojosos. Estoy por aquí. Bueno, pues nada, parece ser que la peña, tío, poca, hace caso omiso de lo que dije ayer. Pero bueno, no pasa nada, tío. Nosotros seguiremos adelante. ¿Dónde estaba esa? Era aquí, ¿no? El que quería que matáramos a esta tía. Vale.
Yeah. What?
Right.
Bien. Me pica una oreja. Una oreja.
Afraid not.
Ay, no se pasa hoy mi amigo del dislike. Ay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, vale, misión cumplida. Vale, encima dinerito, fresquito. Vale, vamos a descansar y nos piramos. No sé por dónde será. Dice que había que conectar, no sé qué. Vamos a descansar. A la posada. Sándwich. Ahí está. Vale. Vamos a encontrar el camino ese. Eso ha sido un parón en el camino. Por si acaso venía alguien y quería ver esa pelea. Pero bueno. No. Cancela. Vale, a ver. ¿Era por aquí?
You sense one of your pals, Hoodle?
Por aquí un pajarillo de esos. Ve lugar de impacto, ve al volcán. ¿Y dónde está eso, tío? Aquí. Aquí. Túneles. Desfiladero de San Dios. ¿Y por dónde llevo yo ahí? Desfiladero de San Dios. Sí, vamos para allá. Hola Adolfo, muy buenas tardes, tío. Sí, estoy aquí domingos festivos y todo. Todo lo que haga falta, tío. Es que como me quiero terminar este juego, Adolfo, este juego es muy largo, tío, ¿sabes? Y con todo lo que me va a venir, pues... ¿Dónde termina? Es por ahí, ¿no?
Hot here.
Espérate.
The climate feels different from Menencia's.
It's gotten much cooler since leaving town, though. Let's dispose of the trash.
Strike!
Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way
Like
yet to
imaginario,
go.
no, ya están puestos los likes, tío. Desde hace ya tiempo. Ya están puestos, ya no tenéis que estar mirando. No, por ahí no es. Joder, tío, ¿por dónde cojones, A ver. Por aquí. Túneles de mina. ¿Y dónde está eso? Desfiladero de San Dinos. Ahí para donde voy yo, míralo. Va. Es por aquí. Ya tienes dos likes. No, me pone que tengo 9. Pero que no hay problema, no pasa nada, tío. Si ya sabes que no me interesan los likes, ¿sabes? Ni los dislikes, igual. Eso está como un...
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
Es como una mala... No sé, tío, cómo decirte. El dislike no tengo, no sé, no lo veo. Vámonos.
So we're back in the Zion mine tunnels. Who would have thought we'd be going through this place again? This is where you and I first fought together.
And also the first time we touched, as I recall.
La primera vez que se tocaron, pero oye...
Yes. Really?
Estamos en horario infantil, tío. ¿Qué pasa? Por ahí no. Era por aquí adelante. Por aquí no.
So this path is supposed
Sí,
to
8
take
likes,
us out to
exacto.
Berg Volcano?
We're not gonna see any lava burst out in front of us or anything, are we?
Don't get so paranoid you let a rock fall on your head, Law.
Vale, pues ya está. Por aquí. Nuevos enemigos que me imagino que serán de nuestro nivel ahora. Nivel 40, ¿sabéis? Volcán Berg. Qué guapo el volcán, ¿no? Oye.
So hot.
Well, yeah. We've reached the inner portion of Berg Volcano.
We need to find that starship. And fast.
No puedo, tío. Digo, quizá pueda hacer esto, pero no. Vamos por aquí. Venga, vamos allá.
Right, here goes! Rising with the earth! I'll smash you!
Lightning orb! Steering
Take
flame!
this!
Dance in the wind!
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Got fire!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
This one's all yours! Execution!
Annihilation!
Soaring
The
light
enemy
spear!
wields arts too.
You'll soon see about that! Mine!
Ya va.
I'm ready!
Buena.
Well, looky here!
Vamos a pillar esto. Dejarlo de despertar. Vamos por esta zona. ¡Oh! Hay golems también. ¡Qué guapo! Fijaros atrás. Vale. Golems de fuego. Nivel 40.
Little help!
Los golems.
Rising wyvern!
Radiant here!
Rising wyvern!
Lightning condemn!
Damn it!
One more time!
Lunar rondo! Soaring light spear! Lunar rondo!
Go for the weak point!
Its armor's too strong.
Split it open! Be my guest!
Annihilation!
Not today!
Mega red!
Now you see what I can do!
Dance in the wind!
Lunar rondo! I owe you one!
Astral art?
That's my cue! Lunar corruption!
Shut him down!
Ready to go! Denied!
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
No further! Lunar rondo! I'm not done! It's over! Lunar rondo!
Do it! There you go! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Poseidon! Into the shadow!
Here I come! This one's all mine! Coming
Bien,
through!
buena.
Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Bien.
Ha! You're mine! Not today! Rising Wyvern! Lunar rondo! Rising Wyvern! Beast
Freeze Lancer!
Soaring light spear!
Do it!
Rising Wyvern!
Illuminated! Holy Lamp Corruption!
Vale, perfecto, tío.
Let's refrain from losing.
Pues aquí, vestido
I
gótico.
found some equipment.
Vale, vestido gótico, tío. Eso de que... Buah, mucho mejor para ella. Sí, señor.
Let me take a look at it.
Vale, vámonos. Vale, esta zona no hay nada. Será para la siguiente. Vamos allá. A por estos perretes. Ah, no, por aquí.
Huh.
Atrás yo me encargo.
No choice! Rising Wyvern!
No
further! Take this!
Flame!
Try harder!
They're hiding Nick's armor!
Rising Wyvern! Lunar rondo! Soaring light spear!
I'll stop its charge!
Thank you, Sarah!
in their defenses!
Glad you had your uses!
I'll show you how useful I can be!
Do it! Astral energy!
Say no more. Got it.
Well done!
Take this.
Here's the evil!
Rising Wyvern. Lunar
Sleep now. Not on my watch! There! Help this!
Here I come. I'm not done.
Radiant light!
Rising Wyvern.
Regenerate!
Ready to go!
Allow me to help you.
More where that came from!
Shattering
Light astral energy!
Attack time.
Vale.
I'm out of
Rising Wyvern. Burn in hell.
Now we're not...
Rising Wyvern. No further.
Venga, va.
Up now! Still! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Only the best materials in your garments.
You really do have quite the discerning eye, Dohalim.
Yeah, they all kind of look the same to me.
¿Y aquí qué pasa? ¿Qué ha dicho? Construcción. Ah, mira qué guapo.
You can make plants grow instantly? What if we use this for fruits and vegetables?
I'd rather not be our party's fertilizer. Thank you very much.
Sí. Vale, a ver. Y nada, y aquí están estos. Vamos a ello, vamos a ver. Muchas gracias a esas 4 personas que estáis ahí, Aunque no habláis nada, pero bueno, os agradezco un montón, gente.
It's a duel of the Leave the enemy's arm!
Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done!
Here! Resonate with the earth!
Va, va,
Take
va.
this. No escape. Rising. We've turned the tables on them.
There's still more left!
Right. No time to hold back. It's on. Not today.
Begin!
Light astral water! Here's the
Here I come! Some regeneration!
confiscated!
Regenerate!
Rising Wyvern.
Here's the evil!
Now I can let loose.
Is that a
Do
healing
it!
knife? It is.
Law!
Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Madre mía, y quería haberme hecho un maratón, ¿sabes? ¿Para
Any
qué?
injuries?
Quería haber empezado a partir de las 3 de la tarde. O a las 2, ¿sabes? Pero si es que me va a dar igual. Esto es más largo un día sin pan. Vamos allá.
I won't forgive you!
Resonate with the earth! No art for being interrupted. No further! I shall ensure you survive this. It cools up. Time to get out of the way. Now pesky airborne scoundrels. No
Sounds like a job for you, truly!
Remind me to stay on your good side.
You picked the wrong fight.
Let me see what I can
Si
do.
antes lo digo, se miran.
Keep charging us.
That's what my shield's for. Get behind
El
me.
que quiera que se pase y el que
Leave it to
no.
you.
Ya, hasta el níscalo.
You're mine. No escape. Ready to go. No escape. Swallow blade coming through. Ha! Now. Scarlet Inferno.
Infierno, es que me escarcha.
Denied! In a bind?
In here!
I'll smash you!
Do it! I'm expert! Come law!
Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
¿Por dónde
My
ahora?
face is starting to sting. My throat feels super
Por ahí
parched.
puedo saltar, ¿no? Bajar,
Here,
ya, ¿no?
have some water. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Thanks.
You want some too, Shion?
Vale.
Oh, wait. I bet you're hungry more than
El
anything,
limón, que me
aren't
gusta
you?
mogollón.
I'm
A ver,
fine, thank you very much.
por aquí. Nada. A por este. Hombre, así subimos de nivel un poco, ¿sabes? Nos viene bien.
You have to aim for the bright area on their back. Go for the weak point. Here's the evil.
I'm ready!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
Vale, acabaré contigo. ¿Ya?
I'm practically unstoppable.
Por aquí que hay algo. Aquí también hay cosas. ¿Qué pasa aquí, chavales?
Go no further!
Rising Wiper! I'll take you all on!
Can't get out of this!
Raging storm! Long flight! Radiant
You're finished!
Begin!
Lunar Rondo!
Here goes! Raging cascade!
Joder, chaval. Joder, chaval.
I'm not done!
Air throw ice handle! Light astral energy!
Lunar Rondo!
I can carve through armor!
It's on! Burn in hell!
Lunar Cruise! Illuminate
I can't lay a finger on you!
I prefer it that way.
Take this!
What about you?
Just watch and see!
Rising
Wiper!
Raging
It's
cascade!
over!
Here
Lunar
goes!
Rondo!
Don't mind if I do!
Shine! Radiant light! Regeneration!
Rising Wiper!
Regenerate!
Lunar Rondo!
Take to the fray!
Rising Wiper! Coming through! Ha! Now!
No sé si es porque es domingo o porque es un juego ya que ya. De verdad.
Not a chance!
I never miss!
I'm not done!
No further!
Raging storm!
Ignite!
Here's a healing arc!
Take this!
Okay, here I go! Elusive deity!
Shining supernova!
Eagle ray!
Raging
I can
cascade!
carve through armor!
Strike! It's
Now!
over!
Begin! Does it hurt? Look
Vale,
sharp! Lightning tiger blade!
Qué pena, tío.
We managed to pull through.
¿Me deja algo aquí? ¿Esto? Joder, luego dicen que por qué van mal los directos. Dímelo tú. ¿Sabes? Dímelo tú. Si será por aquí. Es acojonante, tío. Te lo juro. Pero bueno, me da igual. Paso. No, por aquí es por donde hemos venido, ¿no?
Guess I misread the landing.
Ahí hay un tesoro ahí, 1700. Por aquí. Vamos allá.
Coming through!
Here I come!
They smite!
Fluid escape!
Photon can illuminate the water! Come forth!
Rising Wiper!
Are those rocks its skin?
Come and face me! Lunar Rondo! Aim for the weak spot!
Dance in the wind! Here!
Take
Feel!
this! Strike!
This'll come in handy!
Now you see what I can do!
Close one!
Shine! Radiant
Vamos,
light!
hombre.
Regeneration! Prepare to be healed!
Alright! It's showtime! Raging
No
cascade!
further!
Hold on here!
Sorry,
Here I come!
I didn't want to put you out.
What our friends for, we can't depend on them.
You're right. Bear that in mind.
Light burst forth!
Echar un Piccolaris.
You don't mess around! Into the
Certainly not.
I'm not done! Take this!
Clear across the path!
I'm not done!
Aqua serpent!
Here I come! Fluid escape!
Ready and rare!
I never miss! Raging cascade!
Why'd you heal me?
To stop the dying?
Going you into dust!
Lunar blast!
I'm ready!
Air thrust!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Help this! Mega ray!
Captivity!
Annihilate in your dreams!
I'm ready!
Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
You sure showed them!
All in a day's work.
Brigantina, hostias, tiene pinta de estar guapo. Vaya, mucho mejor, sí. Vale, ¿por dónde es ahora? ¿Qué pasa aquí? Vaya.
I won't forgive you!
I'm not done! Can't get out of this!
Radiant, look here!
Begin!
Like this
Rising
is the
light!
wind!
Elusive
Mega
beam!
blast and ready! This
Rising
one's
light!
mine!
Ignite!
Mega ray! Annihilation! Mega ray!
Rising
Where
Wyvern!
that came from!
Lunar Rondo!
Dance in the wind!
Soaring
Air
light
thrust!
spear!
Here! Light ash lightning condemned! Thunder
Elusive
blast!
beam! Here I
Blah,
come!
blah, blah,
Leave
blah.
charges to me!
Lunar Command!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Power of water!
I'll wreck you!
This is it!
Crescent Flash! Take this!
Lightning!
It's over!
I'm out of ammo!
Lunar Rondo!
Back into the
Dance
fray!
on the wind!
Annihilation! Now!
Reflect the Suddenly! In an instant! Impact Block!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Jarro de la suerte. Hostias, hasta luego.
Get lost!
Take this!
Take
this!
Raging
No
sword!
further!
Here's a healing arm!
Front!
First aid!
It's on! Dance on the wind! Not today!
Photon dance in the wind!
Could be a
Here's
big
the
aim
Here's
for the
go!
back!
Lightning, you don't mind if I do! It looks like you got this one. Do it!
Chisara! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone!
Looks like we won.
Falta nada para el 43, tío. Vale, ya estoy por aquí. Vamos allá. 8.800
What's
pavos.
this thing?
Sí, anda, darme... Por aquí he estado yo.
It's crazy to see rocks melt before our eyes.
No sé, tío.
Watch where you're going, everyone. If you fall,
Joder, aquí me
there'll be
pierdo
nothing
yo,
left of you.
Exactly. So don't try anything funny. Especially you, Law. No pushing anyone, not even as a joke.
I'm not a little kid!
Sí, no soy un crío, dice. Mira, este puente. Ah, mira, puedo crear cosas.
I didn't know you had that sort of trick up your sleeve, Dohalim. I would have figured rocks and plants would be too different for you to handle
Absoluta.
both.
Not necessarily.
Claro, ahora me tengo que tomar una de estas. Gel de naranja. Y de equipo. Mucho mejor.
Callous. Calcified. Calaglia.
What kind of poem is that?
A sparse one.
Es por aquí. Espérate.
Let's dispose of the trash. Eat dirt!
Rising Wyvern!
Where are you going? Field!
Rising Wyvern! Radiant
Nothing gets by me.
Regeneration! Regenerate! Here I come!
Up and at 'em! Let's go!
Okay.
Go for the weak point!
Lunar Rondo!
Water, hear my call!
Soaring Legend! Ah! Raining Thrust! Devastation! Coming through!
Vale, buena.
Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! It's alright!
One more blade!
Burn!
Wheel!
Okay, here I go!
Armor won't save you!
Rising Wyvern!
Throbs in pain.
Lunar Rondo!
In a bind?
You're finished!
Radiant! Illuminate!
You're mine!
Now!
It's over!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done! Lunar corruption!
Take this!
Lunar whirlwind!
Lunar Rondo!
Annihilation here!
Hitting pile driver!
Anything in armor is all mine!
I'm ready! Look sharp!
Muy buena.
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Muy guapo.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
Little help!
Rising Wyvern! I can carve through armor!
Photon blast! Raging
Not done!
cascade!
Hitting Lunar Rondo!
Sleep now! Arch field!
Soaring Light Spear!
If it's in the
Eat
sky,
dirt.
the flashing parts are weak point.
Thank you!
Denied!
Doesn't you require
Banana, let's go!
Can't get out of this!
Lunar corruption! I never miss!
Here I come!
There you go!
yourself finished.
Vale, genial.
Now, here I come. Eagle leg. Take this. No escape. Rising light.
I'll be saving this one.
Here I come. Rising light.
Raging star! Do it! What is astral energy?
Say no more.
Perfecto, tío. Hecho.
That extra training paid off.
A pillar esto. Ahora del despertar. A por esto.
Go no further!
You're mine.
Now you see what I can do.
Rising light.
Flame! Reload! Raging star!
Rising wyvern.
Fly into the shadows!
Lunarongo. It's on. Soaring light eater.
Sleep now! Get on in there with the others!
No one, come on.
Tempt
You're
it!
finished.
Alright!
Lunarongo.
Here's the healing arts! First aid!
Now I can let loose.
Resonate with the earth.
Dreams!
I can handle it. Stalagmite. Far enough.
Illuminate this! Come forth!
Bloody howling.
Rising wyvern!
Now let's see what I can do.
This one's mine! Mega ray!
Rising wyvern. Lunarongo.
Anything in armor is all mine.
Venga, vamos.
Thunder ray!
Ignite.
Illuminate the star!
They smite with black and
Holy
flame.
resurrection! Holy land! By the
Soaring
power
light
of
spear.
water! Gemini
Rising
Ultra!
wyvern.
Mega ray!
It's
Gemini
over.
Ultra!
Take
Not
this.
just fun now!
No
We fight
escape.
better at a distance.
Rising
The
wyvern.
further away, the better. You and I both. Air thrust! Now!
Perfecto, tío.
Looks like we won.
Vale, a ver qué me queda. Yo creo que ya está. Mira, allí me queda una de estas. Y a ello. Vale. ¿Dónde está eso? No, por aquí arriba. A ver. Vale, por aquí. Aquí. ¿Qué hacéis ahí, capullos?
Little help!
Pieces in a vine.
Burn in hell.
Renovation light. Nothing gets another incantation ruined.
Burning spear zone! Confiscated!
I'm ready.
Vale,
Astral
fuera.
energy!
Say no more.
Shine.
Well done!
Radiant light. Force of regeneration.
Strike.
Let them
Let us take to the front.
I'm ready!
It's over.
Where are you going?
Rising wyvern. Lunarongo.
Now!
Consider
This ends now!
yourself finished.
Glacial spear!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free.
They smite with black and blaze.
Freeze laser!
Take this.
Thunder field!
You're finished. Rising
Now!
wyvern.
Astral energy!
Hasta luego.
Full throttle!
You're mine.
It's over.
Here!
Vale.
I've been doing really great lately.
Cada vez menos, tío.
This bridge will hold itself together, right?
Most definitely.
La única mística.
Though I won't make it.
Wow, mucho mejor, sí, señor.
Any promises?
Vale.
Which one is it?
Aquí está, aquí. Yo creo que ya estaría todo, ¿no? Encontrado y todo buscado. Y todo farmeado. Vamos allá. Hoy sí que le tenemos que dar caña, tío. Haya la gente que haya uno. Es que ya es que me da igual. El tema de la gente, chicos. Si hay alguien por ahí escuchándome, ya es que no. ¿Qué le vamos a hacer, tío? La peña es como es y ya está. No podemos hacer otra cosa, así que.
Coming through.
Sky is mine! This one's mine!
They smite black and can't get out of this.
In here! Lunar Cruise! I never miss! More for the sabotage!
Armor won't save you.
I'm not done.
Do it!
Lunarongo.
Astral energy!
Say no more. Got it.
Well done!
Lunarongo.
Deny.
Hola, Jesús. Muy buenas tardes, igualmente, tío. ¿Qué tal lleva el dominguito, Jesús, tío? Hecho.
Our superiority was undeniable.
It feels invigorating to dominate a battle.
I was certain I saw you yawn.
Come now, I'm certainly not that relaxed.
Vale. Y aquí. Ah, aquí hay algo. Hola.
Out of our way. Don't mind if I do.
Tranquilo, ya, tío, ya me da igual. Es que es lo que te digo, que subo una serie que no les gusta a la peña y... ¿Qué haces, tío? Se la comes con papas, ¿sabes? Pero bueno, no pasa nada. ¿Qué le vamos a hacer?
Take this! I'll smash you!
Lightning orb.
Lunar Rondo!
Whoa! Within a touch.
Take this! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Illuminate the dark.
Si hubiera puesto sorteo, ya verás cómo hubiera entrado aquí, vamos. Parece que cuando hay sorteo o algo, entra toda la vaca, tío.
Here comes this! This one's mine! Rending you apart! It's over! Take this! Bloody howling! Lunar Rondo!
Don't mind if I do.
Now! I'll stop your
Vale,
movement!
bueno.
And I'll stop your life!
Devastación, exacto.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
Vale, tengo un cofre. Gel dorado. Y piedra brillante. Yo creo que ya estaría todo ya mirado y farmeado. Así que ahora sí, nos vamos. ¿Por dónde era? Era por esta, ¿no? Por esa escalera, creo. Vale, vamos. Creo que sí. Bueno, además que veo por allí cosas, pero bueno. Por aquí, ¿no? Sí, por aquí. A ver dónde me va a dar esto. ¿Dónde vamos a parar? Aquí pasa algo, ¿eh? Santuario interior. Aquí va a salir algún boss. Voy a grabar por si acaso. Y 40 horas. 40 horas ya de juego, gente. A gameplay de nuevo, ya, tío. Pero es que no me gustaría. Ya creo que te dije, Jesús, que llevo 6 años ya con el gameplay, tío. ¿Sabes? Y es que ya me da igual, no pasa nada. Esté quien esté. Si me quedo yo solo en el directo, pues ya está. Pues me quedo solo. Pero que déjalo, que no pasa nada, tío. Da igual, déjalo. Si es que lo que pasa, como hay tantos hoy en día, y es que no, el gameplay, tío. Bueno. O como me dé la vena. Con tantos juegos que voy a tener ahora. No lo sé, ya veré.
What the hell is that thing?
Probably that monster Nath warned us about, if I had to guess.
Si no digo que se quede en todo el directo, pero que estén un rato, como haces tú muchas veces, hace el otro.
But why this
Si se
location?
pasaran todos,
If
tío,
the
madre
purpose
mía.
of the wedge is to harvest Dahna's astral energy.
Joder.
We can figure that out later. If that thing gets into town, it's going to cause chaos. We need to take it down and move on. Let's go!
Joder, qué feo. Qué guapo, oye. 47, la madre que lo parió.
Let me know if you need healing.
¿Qué me estás contando?
On your toes, everyone.
No puedo, ¿dónde la ataco?
Suddenly turning tail doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Me? Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm
¿Dónde la
scared.
ataco?
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zoogles? Take
Ahora.
care of them while keeping an eye on it.
Far enough! I can carve through armor! Take this! Eat dirt! Lightning orb!
Quería jugarlo, es que es una pasada, tío. Una pasada. Pero ya sabe, a echarle horas.
Stay away from my friends!
Now you see what I can do!
You're mine! Rising Wyvern! Lunar Rongo!
Resuscitation!
Here I come!
It looks like you got this one covered.
Take this!
Lunar corruption!
Elusive deity!
Lunar flare! I'm all set up!
Oh, loro.
In a bind?
Burn it! Here's a healing arm!
Rising Wyvern!
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword, and with my sword.
You're mine!
Annihilation!
Rising Wyvern!
Anything in armor is all mine! I'll smash you!
You're finished!
¡Ay, va! Me reventó. Me cago en la madre que lo parió. ¿Dónde está? Pura intensidad. No. Ya no sé ni lo que hago, tío. ¿Dónde estaba? No me digas que me queda sin ello. Ah, no, está aquí.
Not done yet!
Not so fast! Elusive deity!
Rising Wyvern!
Lunar Rongo! Now's our chance!
Rongo!
Don't mind if I do!
Thanks!
Where are you going?
Take this!
Dance in the wind!
Prepare to be seen!
I'm ready! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Hola, Andrés. Muy buenas, tío. Aquí estamos. Luchando. Muchas gracias por pasarte, tío.
Not today!
I can carve through armor! I can handle it!
Rising Wyvern!
Maybe show Kisara a little kindness, huh?
She is strong. She can handle it.
You can be really good still, Helene.
Try harder!
No.
Rising Wyvern!
Take that! No further!
Take this! No escape! Lunar Rongo!
It's showtime! Now you see what I can do! Elusive deity!
Seal! Here's a healing arm! First aid!
Burn!
Begin!
Raging cascade!
Can you take it?
Venga, va.
It's in the sky! It's mine! I never
Venga, vamos, que podemos, tío.
It's weakened!
This ends now! I'm ready!
Venga, va, bueno.
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Here come more!
We'll just have to keep fighting. The enemy feels on his soon.
We'll soon see about that!
I'm not done!
Take this!
No escape!
Denied!
Venga, va. Buena, bien.
Rising
Ya
Wyvern!
que salen bichos de estos.
Death on the wind!
Ignite!
Hay que aguantar aquí la estocada, tío. No.
Coming through!
Vale, buena.
Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, they're all coming after me!
I'm coming, Redwell.
I'm not scared! I'm totally fine!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope there wasn't truth.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Theon actually look better.
Madre mía. Hostia, que se han cargado la otra, tú.
Illuminated blaster! Holy
Guau, chaval, esto es una locura. Poción. Cura. Voy a intentar aquí aguantar lo que sea, tío. Bien, vamos.
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Vale, a ver, cuidado. ¿Qué me vas a poner más?
Reinforcements incoming. Not a problem.
In a bind?
Reload! Confiscated! Here
Venga, vamos.
I'll smash you! Scream. Made a thrilling performance.
That's my watch!
Bloody howling! Light Spear! You're mine! God's might!
Deal force! I'm also
Another incantation ruined!
Illuminate the dark! Annihilate! Illuminate the dark!
Elusive deity!
Venga, vamos, vamos.
Ready and quick!
Venga, levanta.
Now you see what I can do!
Lightning orb! Illuminate the dark! Holy glimmer!
Why'd you human take
Stop you dying?
Hostia, chaval.
It's too much!
Voy a tomarme un gel melocotón. Es que da muy poco, Un gel. ¿Y este qué hace? Es PC. Vale, gel de naranja, gel de limón.
You're mine!
Nothing gets by here.
No, la Fione no.
No more playing night! Lightning orb! Lightning condemned! Illuminate the
Flame
dark!
inside me! You're right free!
Radiant blood! Here!
Venga, vamos.
Shattering pieces! Take
Raging cascade!
Can't get out of this!
Downfall! Spread! Here's the wind!
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down! Right! Where are you going? Confiscate!
Seismic rupture! Stand in the way!
Raging fire!
I'm ready!
Venga, va.
Astral energy!
Venga, fuera.
Say no more!
Well done!
Hola, Orbi, bienvenido, tío. ¿Cómo vamos? Bueno, ahí vamos, regular, tío. Bueno, regular, vamos bien, pero vamos. Gel de naranja. Vale, Jesús, tío. Aquí estaremos. Gel de naranja. Ya, tío.
Precision, precision, timing. All a perfect 10.
That's it? Nothing else to add?
You take meticulous care of your fire. Is that a healing art? It is. I can't ignore it.
Demons descend!
Vale, buena.
Flashing bang! No further!
Where are you going?
I'll smash you!
Glaciers appear! Here's the eagle!
Lunar Rongo!
Freeze Lancer! Here goes! Go get him! Dance in the wind! Sleep now! Lunar Karaka, you all tucked away! Gemini Alpha!
Vale, fuera. Al dualing. El dualing. El dualing.
I've healed myself.
Vale.
Here's a healing art!
Okay, here I go.
It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone!
¡Ya, chaval!
Everyone all right?
We won't surrender.
¿Pero qué me estás contando, tío? ¿Qué acaba de hacer?
Not yet.
Whatever you do.
¡Madre
just
mía!
Please stay safe. I'll break.
Que se ha cargado ahí a todo Cristo. Puro intenso. No. Le voy a usar una cura. Cura intensa, venga, va. No, claro, tengo que resucitar al otro.
How are we supposed to take on something so big?
Otra vez.
Just
Otra vez.
watch and learn. That's enough.
Venga ahí, hombre.
Go back down.
Toma, hostia. Fuego incandescente. Fuego incesante. Venga al carajo, tío. Qué hijo de perra, Buah. Digo, ya me ha reventado a todos.
Everyone okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, qué brutalidad.
That thing scared the pants off me.
It felt like it had a different aura than other Zeugles, didn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't like the one that Almadria sicked on us either.
Its elemental astral energy variance was out of this world. It was like fighting a lord.
I guess it's safe to assume that if it came out of the wedge, it must have played some part in helping harvest astral energy. But what?
Perhaps a living spirit vessel? It's plausible, given the location. Or it may be part of a new force dispatched to regain control of Dahna.
If we assume that monster was one of the 4 beams of light, we must have prevented something from taking place here.
I'd like to think so, knowing how much grief it gave us. But at least with that out of the way, we can keep moving forward now. Let's go.
Vale, ya está, ¿no? Joder, tío, suprima montar caballo. Aumenta el 1, vale. Tengo 2000, así que vamos a ver, mira, 1000. Daño adicional, vale. Hecho, a ver qué tenemos por aquí. Otros 1000, daño crítico. Vale, le damos con eso. A ver, esta que tienes por aquí, 1500. Vale, acelera el ritmo de recuperación de la IA, bien. Y estas son 900. Acelera el ritmo de recuperación de la IA, perfecto. A él tenemos, mira, 1700. Resistencia de artes. Venga. Dificulta a los enemigos interrumpir las artes lanzadas. Genial. Genial. 300. La puta. Esta. A ella, esta tiene muy pocas. 2000. Wow. Tiempo reducido de lanzamiento de artes en combos. La vida ni que he pintado. Vale, pues ya estaría, ¿no? Y aquí este 2000, 900, 500, 800, 700, 1100. Pues entonces aquí. Voy aquí. El crítico. 500. Y está. Ya tiene 3000, que son 1400 aquí. Y 1090. Perfecto, y ya estaría. Vale, vámonos. Llaves secretas. Tú verás, para no subir de nivel, ¿sabes? Vale, vámonos.
What do you know? Another big fire monster with nothing better to do than get in our way.
I wonder where the rest of those lights ended up landing. It looked like they were pretty scattered.
Well, whatever they're after, let's just hope none of them are anywhere near a city. An ambush on civil—
Well, no rest for the wicked, right? Though with 1 down and 3 to go, it sounds like our headache is just beginning.
I thought you liked the opportunity to flex your muscles.
Against those things? Besides, we've already got our hands full saving the world. Dying stupidly won't—
Yeah, I guess I can't argue with that logic.
Vale, vamos. Ya se me está descargando el Kena, tío. El Kena y el Diablo. Los tengo ya... Los tengo descargando. Luego miraré porque no sé si se me han descargado. Bueno, luego, cuando termine, ¿sabes? Necesito un sitio para acampar, ¿eh? Eso sí. Oh, qué guapo, qué buena. Oh, mirad el cielo cómo está.
Hey, is that it over there?
Este tiene... Si tienes problemas para regresar a la ciudad, puedo echarte una mano. Gestionar rancho. Oye, de rancho. Tú, alcanza la madurez. Criar ganado. Una oveja. Caballo. Pollo. Y un poco de cerdo o vaca. Una vaca. Vale. De comprar. ¿Qué hacemos? Espérate, ¿podemos vender? No, esto no. Vamos a vender esto. Y armaduras. Malla de zafiro también. Mono de zafiro también. Túnica zafiro también. Protección de zafiro. Vale, y ahora compramos. A ver si tienen algo de armas, nada. Sí, malla zafiro, lo que le he vendido yo. Vale, y vamos a pillar Gel de limón, no. Tenemos 13. Gel de uva, 2800, tío. 2800 de uva. Naranja. El de piña, ya hay que ir pillando de piña. Sí. Poción vital. Moderado caído. Poción de panacea. Vale. Gel de piña. Vale, ya está, nos tiramos. ¿Y forjar arma? No. Esta... Sí, me falta el rugido ignis mejorado. Qué putada. Nah, pero todas las demás, nada. Esta me falta ahí algo. Aguijón paralizante. Me cago en tu prima. Esta también me falta algo. Este no. No, este es el que tenemos. Y eso también. Fragmento impregnado. Ah, pues nada, ahora vámonos. Hasta luego. Amigo de los animales. Genial.
Hey, look! We've got way more animals.
Ah, mira, la nave. Aquí está la nave, tío. Como Goku, chaval, cuando viajaba a la Tierra. Vale, ahora otra vez. Otra vez me queda solo. No, bueno, nada.
Alvin?
Esto es lo que hay.
Did you remember something?
No, but I have seen this starship before. This is it. This is the ship I traveled in when I escaped from Lenegis.
Es la nave de Goku.
3 centuries later, and it's no worse for wear. I'll take a look at the internals.
Joder, se podía limpiar un poquito.
Damn! I'm amazed it still works at all after all this time.
The past meets the present. I really am from a different time and place.
Yeah, but you've got us now.
Not only that, but you've helped out so many people too.
Law's right. Rinwell too.
Hola,
You're one of
Francisco,
us
muy
now.
buenas tardes.
No more carrying the weight of history on your shoulders. You're a part of this
¿Qué
world.
tal llevamos el dominguito, tío?
Right. Thanks, you guys.
Domingueando, ¿no? Oye, ¿qué tal por allí, por la isla, tío? Que escucha que hay temblores y cosas, tío. ¿Estás tú bien?
How's it look?
It should
Es
fly.
por donde vives,
All
es en
internal
La Palma,
systems
¿no?
seem to be operating. However, considering how long it's remained inactive, I suspect it will take some time before it's ready for takeoff.
How much time are we talking here?
Starship mechanics are not what I'd call my forte, so I'd rather not hazard a guess.
So we've just got to sit around here and wait? I'm terrible at waiting.
That's because you're a child. Oh, but how about we use this time to prepare and gather supplies for the trip?
Good idea. Who knows when we'll be back from Lenegis once we leave? We should prepare ourselves for every possible scenario before we go.
Let's try not to stay away too long. I'd hate for anything to happen to the place while we're gone.
Either we race ahead, or we take due precaution to ensure we have no regrets. I shall leave it up.
Works for me.
Punto de viaje. Espera a que la nave esté lista para despegar. Toma ya. Mira qué pedazo de nave, niño. Que ya explotó el... Ya ha explotado el... Es que no me he enterado. Bueno, estaba escuchando las noticias y tal, y estaban diciendo que había temblores y había cosas, ¿sabes? Pero no me he enterado, tío. Todavía.
It's funny, isn't it?
What is?
All this. When we first started this thing, after all, this is the sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
Hace
I'm
media
sure
hora.
Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his son was doing
Hostia,
right
tío.
now.
And a little shocked, too.
Pero ha pasado algo.
We're defying the order of things that have
Estará
persisted for 300
la
years.
gente bien y eso,
Deep
¿no?
down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegis.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renan. The rest of us can...
No offense to Xion and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken. And this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegis and the Renan homeworld leave
Por
Dahna
ahora
alone
todo
for
bien,
good.
va, menos mal.
I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Si lo he escuchado en el telediario, tío,
Is
que
there
estaba
no way we can talk them into leaving
en
us
alerta.
alone?
The people of Lenegis?
Sure. I mean, we found a way to make it work with Xion and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena... There are those on Lenegis who have never stepped foot on Dahna. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Dahnans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dahna. What happens now?
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegis.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Xion can finally... Xion? Huh?
Vale.
Where? Xion?
Tu grupo se ha desintegrado.
Where'd Xion go? How could she just go off on her own?
Está allí. Está allí. Nos vamos ya aproximando al final del juego, ¿eh? No voy a subir el post-grain de ese, o como se diga.
Xion!
Tú eres de la isla vecina.
But why?
De la isla vecina, ¿no? Pero has sentido algo.
You okay?
Tío, estarás acojonado, digo yo.
Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
No me digas que se quiere pirar la tía. Que nos quieren dejar aquí solos.
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again.
Ah, es de Gran Canaria.
Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case,
Hostia,
go
tío.
ahead and shoot me!
Pues allí hay buen ganado, ¿eh? Tú verás. La Virgen, chaval. Allí sí que se... Madre mía. Conozco alguna... Bueno, conozco de chicas que hay por ahí en Twitter de que son de Gran Canaria y dices, joder, la Virgen Santa. Madre mía, qué bien le sienta la playa. Joder, la niña. Vaya.
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Rolron?
Uf, qué calor.
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time. The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
Que no puede morir, dice. Pero que si leche, si antes has muerto.
I believe you, Xion.
Bueno, he echado un pisco labis
Tell me
tranquilamente.
how.
Las
How
5:15
is something
de la
like that
tarde.
possible?
Y a las 6
My
me voy a
thorns.
por un monster.
They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me.
Y nada, muchas gracias a todos los que estéis en el
I
directo,
have
tío.
no idea why. But my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death.
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself,
Vaya, pobrecilla.
I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Ay, 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 pobrecita, la niña. La niña de sus ojos.
Shion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first, but ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegis,
Yo no sé si seguir ya con la
when the
serie
wedge
esta.
fell.
No sé, yo dije, ya es que le dije, lo dije
Every
ya,
day, I feel the
que lo iba a
thorns
acabar
power
en
growing
directo, pero es
stronger
que, tío,
inside of me.
siendo una persona,
Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold
¿qué
them
dices?
back
Vaya.
anymore. And when that happens,
me vine arriba con
So,
con la edición coleccionista dije, y dije, venga,
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself.
y eso que es domingo, que está todo el mundo en su
To
casa.
find the Renaissance on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
Pero bueno,
Too much. It's way too much.
when this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Dahnans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
ay, 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 la niña,
Living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Alvin,
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen. We can fight this. Fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else too.
Shion, what do you want? It's your decision ultimately.
ay, ay,
But
que me
if you
pica el
decide
pie,
not
Dios
to
mío,
fight fate,
ay, el pie,
I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
Grrr.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
Y el Judgment me da ahí como el culo.
And I,
también.
for one, don't believe this
Todo.
venture is without hope.
Vale, gracias, Jesús, tío.
Shion
Por
is the
estar...
descendant of a
Pues
maiden
somos
from
tú y yo ahora,
300 years
¿sabes?
ago. Given the circumstances,
Tío, y eso
it
que es
seems
domingo,
very
macho.
likely that those events have some
De verdad, la
connection to
peña,
her
mira que
faults.
lo puse. Si lo puse más que nada era para llamar a la atención a la peña, tío. Y que digan, coño, es verdad. Vamos a pasarnos, tío, aunque sea un rato.
I take it you mean we might find a way
La
to get
gente le
rid of
suda
her
tres
thorns?
cojones, tío.
To live?
It's certainly possible. Though I suspect the nature of the sovereign is connected somehow.
So
Nada,
be it.
¿qué le vamos a hacer?
I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shion. No matter what happens from now on,
Por lo
right
menos.
here with you. All of us are.
Oye, Jesús, ¿has probado ya el Aragami? ¿Te ha molado, tío? Nosotros lo continuaremos más adelante. Cuando no haya tanto juego, tío.
You guys. You're all so stubborn.
La la la. La 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 la. Cago en la leche, tío.
Thank you, everyone.
Nos faltan los mecheros, tío.
For right now.
Madre mía.
And a little
Bueno, así
while
puedo hacer un
longer,
poco más
I just
gilipollas.
want to hold on to this dream. And most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you.
¿Lo has probado? ¿Te moló o no? Sí, estuvo guapo ayer, Orbi. Mañana volvemos con él, tío. Que a ver si que no sé cuánto le quedará para el final, ¿sabes? Pero me quiero terminar contra antes, que la semana que viene va a ser brutal, Orbis, tío. Pensaba que no estaba, ya pensaba que te había sido, tío. Que gracias por pasarte, tío. Es que la semana que viene me viene el Kena, el martes, se me está descargando ya. Se me viene el Diablo 2 también, ¿sabéis? Y es que lo quiero terminar. Si ya pensaba de empezar un poco antes, incluso. Para pegarme aquí un maratón y tal y acabarlo el juego, pero... Bueno, ¿qué ha pasado?
The end of the world. It's hard to believe it.
I believe Shion is telling the truth.
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great... Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we've...
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands. So many clues. Yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her thorns fit in?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dahna's astral energy come to...
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelagian. When her thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere
So you think those thorns might be alive too? That their will is... But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden...
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much.
Right.
Vale. Con hemos hablado. A ver, ahora esta.
How you holding
Ya.
up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was not...
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion...
Yeah, I know.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing into...
Yeah, very...
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not
Ahora os
right.
imagináis al agua
You can
así
say that again.
y os
It
pongo ahí
may be
un
normal
código,
for
tío.
us, but that doesn't
Claro,
make it any
no
less
tengo
special
dinero,
or
tío.
important for her.
Para mí.
I hope she gets what she wants.
Un código ahí de
I have my own dreams,
algún, de
but a
algún
world
juego de
without
regalo o
her,
algo.
where
No,
she
ya,
dies so we can all survive,
lo pillaréis
isn't a
uno de
world I
vosotros.
want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
Así para Navidades, el día de Nochebuena, hacemos un sorteíto. ¿Sabéis? Ponemos un par de unos códigos por ahí. Ah, por este. Y...
Can't sleep?
After
Es que no
everything we
sé,
just
no me gusta
heard,
ponerlo ahí, tío. Porque
how
luego
could I?
sale el
Fair
tal
enough.
gilipollas
Shion's had to deal with
y nos
so much on her own.
y os quitan el
Even when
código,
we were all
¿sabes?
laughing and celebrating, I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
Vaya.
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there.
You...
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even...
Yeah, I really hope so. When you think about it, but over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope she's able to do that more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget it.
Rinwell.
Rinwell, cago en 10, Rinwell. Vale, ¿y esto? ¿Qué es eso que sale ahí? Una de esas, ¿no? A ver.
Did you know?
You mean about
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but...
You? But you're the one always looking out for her.
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her...
At least you figured it out in time though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those...
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can...
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or...
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law. And you've already made up...
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with. We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point. But I guess I'll think it over more then.
Yeah,
Vale. ¿Y esto qué pasa aquí? ¿Por qué sale esto así, tío? Bueno, da igual, vamos a hablar con la Sione. Qué bonito, oye. ¡Sione!
Hey.
I seem to, as much as I try to look like I have things under control. Everyone...
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you...
No? What?
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you... I was different back then. The Dahnans were not even people to me. And I knew I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadheim, when you called me your friend, it just... shattered the wall, because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the blazing sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But it didn't matter that we were Renans. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend, I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Shion.
But then I realized I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dahna and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shion. Our fight won't be over until everyone, both Danans, but I swear I'll be there with you. Until the...
Thank you.
Vale.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia?
Yeah. I think you may...
Venga, ya. Vale, creo que subimos para arriba.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegis.
Nos vamos a Lenegis. ¡A Lenegis! Nos piramos. Vámonos. Despegar, sí. No sé qué nos encontraremos allá arriba. Vamos con nivel 42 o 43 o por ahí.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx it.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever...
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking some...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the
I like it. Sounds perfect for our...
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... Well, it's as good a name as any.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dahna alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. All right?
En marcha, venga, va. Vámonos, tío. La verdad que ya nos olíamos. Bueno, ya me olía yo que este juego no iba a ir bien al canal, tío. Y es que no, un poco me equivoco, la verdad. Lo que va a ir bien y lo que va a ir mal. Pero bueno, yo lo subí con todo el hype, tío. Mal hecho. Tenía que haber una jugada para mí.
I can still hardly believe...
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so...
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Dahnans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there.
Yo creo,
Think you'll be all right
que
with
el
the
domingo que
controls?
viene ya no vamos a hacer directo, tío.
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say
Por lo
I'll
menos
manage.
hasta que la peña
I'm basically just here to supervise.
seamos más gente y,
In that
y
case,
vayan dando
she's
más
all
apoyo.
yours.
Los domingos, yo creo que ya. Otra vez.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little...
We'll be going to
Sí, porque,
Lenegis soon.
joder, tío.
This
¿sabes?
must
Después
feel
de
like
que
a
uno aquí se
homecoming of sorts
sacrifica
to you,
para
huh?
nada, tío. Pues joder, ¿sabes?
What was life on Lenegis like back then?
Let's just say I don't have many happy memories. I've had they called it treatment. But in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for the...
You mean, they experimented?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my... Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why
Madre
shouldn't
mía.
we be the ones
Es que no
dying
sé
to
si
save
apagarlo.
you?
Terminar
Are
el
you
directo ya,
crazy?
¿sabéis?
Why would you sacrifice your life for...
De verdad.
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. Now I see it. The true nature...
A victory without losers. But that means that a Dahnan victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things...
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future. We can do this.
Muy bien.
Is something...
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick.
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. You too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we...
I see.
Darling?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
Muy bien, a ver. ¿Qué pasa ahora? Qué guapa mi nave, tío. Parte de tu ganada alcanzado la esta. Vale, a ver.
Hey, Alvin, listen to this. So Law and I were...
Hey!
What's got...
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about name...
Hey! I never said I was... I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified...
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think...
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology.
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alvin, it might...
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alvin. It's just...
Muy bien. Vale, ya vamos a hablar con estos también. Vamos, que ya se está acercando el final, chicos. Vamos, eso creo. A ver, ¿dónde está la otra pava? Me falta la otra, me está esperando en mi habitación, seguro. ¿Me quiere hacer un masaje en la espalda o no lo sé? Vale, otro que está bien. Genial.
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things...
Glad to hear. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and it...
Oh, you don't say. That should definitely come in handy if any... Alphen? Was it...
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony, Naori laid me inside.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean... you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all...
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure...
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really... I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Dahnans, wherever they might be. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh?
Vale. A ver. Habla con tu Ali. A ver si me dejarán un poco farmear algo. Estoy a puntito de subir al 44, tío.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making
Before we do that, just what exact...
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give...
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are...
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dahna even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renan ladder is considered superior to being a Dahnan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give back.
Wait a second. Are you? He is! What?
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this Red Woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wait. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from...
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dahna, we need to take it back at all costs.
That Red Woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
Hostia, ¿qué pasa?
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them.
Vale. Genial. Esto será el... No creo que sea el final, tío. Yo creo que no vamos preparados. Ojalá. Pero vamos.
There's no one here. I wasn't expecting
Ya,
to
chaval,
welcome that, but
parece
still.
lo de V.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're...
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard...
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this Red Woman is here. And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any.
Forbidden?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
Joder. Van,
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
La peña, tío.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone.
Vale.
Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renans.
Thinking about...
For such a...
Oh!
Would you two...
So how many Renans actually live in this?
I couldn't tell you exactly.
There's Zoogles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let them...
Por cambiar. Yo creo que sí voy a tener que irme al gameplay otra vez, que me los directos, tío. Grabo 3 o 4 series a la vez y las publico durante el día, como hacía antes, ya está. Sí, porque aquí no aparece ni el tato, y los domingos menos, tío. Es acojonante. Luego dicen, tío, de verdad. Luego, Emi, los directos, ¿por qué te van mal? Yo qué sé, pero tú, mira. Me cago en la madre que me parió. Es que es acojonante, tío. ¿Lo quieren así? Pues así va a ser. Nada, gameplay a tomar por saco, tío. ¿Cuándo empieza el Kena? El martes, ¿no? Pues ahora. El martes por la noche empieza a grabar. Se acabó. Se acabó el directo ya.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge
Hola,
down
Samuel.
to Dahna?
Vale,
But they
gracias,
wouldn't move
tío.
around the places where people live. These are their homes.
I would think the citizens
Y yo a las
themselves didn't
6
have
ahora
much
me voy
say in
a
the
por
matter.
un monster.
Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim?
Avakir, I'm glad to see.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dahna participating in the crown contest? And these people...
So you haven't heard what happened on Dahna, then?
Heard what?
Someone...
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift with... We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening. But so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone. Have you seen Faria yet?
No. I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of...
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you.
Vale.
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dahna.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the...
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Dahnans poking their noses around.
Good idea.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two.
Muy bien.
The Dahnans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's lives. It's just... unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dahna.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be...
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
Vale, en marcha. Joder, tío. Se tiran
So,
hablando.
I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration, to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so.
Hola,
Trust
Ciro.
me,
Muy
as far
buenas,
as we were
tío. Muy buenas
concerned,
tardes,
Lenegis was
amigo.
our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder
Gracias por
whether
pasar,
the city
tío.
was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry, that probably sounded weird.
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going.
Vamos a hacer
though.
hoy la prueba. A ver si hoy
Yeah,
hay...
you're
Sé
right,
que no
Sion.
sé, tío.
I'm sure we will.
Es que yo disfruto haciendo directos, tío. Se hace mucho mejor que los gameplay, la verdad. Porque llegas, haces tu directo, no tienes que estar editando, no tienes que estar tal. Ya, pero bueno, ya veremos.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused it?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. We have no choice but to grin and but to... I believed he was on...
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill...
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. Now, the Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the late...
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Vale, ¿ahora para dónde? ¿Para allá? Aquí hay alguien más, ¿no? Pero por aquí no había nadie. No, no, están por aquí, ¿no? Por aquí.
Your lordship. Oh, what a great... I descended to Dahna during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch I witnessed the deaths of so many...
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen...
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that.
Yeah. What about down on Dahna during the crown contest? You didn't...
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
Vale. A ver qué dice esta tía.
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Ah, no te
Oh,
preocupes,
yes.
no pasa nada. La
I
cosa es que
can't
te
seem to find
pasaste,
my way
Ciro.
home is all.
Eres
I
nuevo,
was just
tío, y
about
te
to make
pasaste,
my
tío. No te
umpteenth attempt
preocupes.
at a new
Este
route.
es un rato conmigo
I was
aquí.
hoping to head this way myself.
Se agradece un montón,
The
¿sabes?
situation is a real pain, huh?
Pero que ya te digo, tengo de los 4.000
I
y pico
suppose the
suscriptores,
sovereign knows best.
la mitad ni se
I
acercan,
daren't stay
tío.
here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around. I was hoping to
Si
avoid
no te
it,
mola el
but maybe
juego,
I'll
pues
have
bueno,
to go that way
saludas y te
after
vas.
all.
Y ya está. Hola, Emi, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué tal? Hasta
You
luego,
mean
tío.
you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris. But how? Last
Yes, strange, isn't it?
Claro, por lo menos
If you know
anima a ver
another
gente,
route,
tío,
we'd be
¿sabes?
grateful if you could tell us.
Anima que haya gente.
course.
Es que como no
Please
vaya
forgive me.
viendo gente,
There's a
entonces
wall that sprung
nada.
up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in
Ya
it.
lo dejo.
I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of...
It's worth investigating. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my...
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Vale, a ver.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about...
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent. Which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth. That Lenegis is under some...
Given everything that's happened to their city, The people here seem weirdly okay.
Yeah, that one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's... There is one thing I'm still not sure about.
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dahna? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as nat. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or
No.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that...
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, sure.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, what if something were to happen to the city? Like...
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one...
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer...
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Dahnan. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made Sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purpose. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions.
Questions y questions.
Ones that it seems will remain unanswered.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start.
Then it's decided.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. Let's go find it.
Vale, vamos a ver.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard
El
yourself,
directo
do
es
you
para
not?
cuando la gente tiene, yo qué sé,
Unquestioning
30.000
acceptance
o
of your own
40.000
servitude.
suscriptores.
Yeah, that sounds about
¿De qué
right.
se trata el juego?
Even so, the
Esto es muy
quality of
largo
life
de
here
explicar,
seems much
tío,
higher
tío.
than any Dahnan city we
Es un
visited.
juego de rol.
I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are
Juego
treated
que no,
fairly either.
que es muy difícil de
More to the
explicar.
point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
Y mira
For
que ha
all we
avisado.
know, she might
que
be
digo,
able to
bueno,
blend in, move
a
around
ver qué pasa
unnoticed.
si la peña se
I say we
pasa por
hold
los
off judgment
directos,
until
pero
we've exhausted every avenue.
como si oyen llover, pues nada, tío. El martes, gente, se ha acabado. Y el lunes, no sé si mañana a grabar. Y se ha acabado. Ya estoy harto ya de los directos, chicos. Ya no va a haber más directos. Todo lo demás en gameplay.
Tell me,
Ya
Dohalim,
toma por saco,
has
tío.
that skill of yours got a name?
Ya lo tengo pensado.
And what skill would this be, pray?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
Yo grabo cuando
I would
quiero.
never stoop to such scandalous
Los fines de
tricks.
semana para mí.
Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the
Se acabó,
beholder.
tío.
So there
Los
is a
directos
knack to
para
it.
la gente que
How
tiene
do you learn
40.000 o
it?
50.000
Can anyone do it?
Yo.
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope...
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a...
¿Ya o qué? Busca la entrada del sector prohibido. Lo que voy a hacer es irme a por un póster. Joder, de verdad, que te lo juro, tío. Qué puta ganas, tío, de joder. Ahora vengo, gente. Vale, ya estoy por aquí. Ya he venido a por el monster. ¿Qué pasa, Shiro? ¿Que eres nuevo? Ya, gracias, tío, por suscribirte. Sí, gracias por jugar al Zombie Army. Ya, gracias a ti por haberme visto. Nada, chicos, ¿sabéis qué voy a hacer? No sé, me da por quitar el directo y grabarlo. ¿Sabéis? Grabarlo. Ya me dedico a grabar las partidas, subirlas como hacíamos antes. Y los directos se han acabado. Sí, porque no se pasa nadie, chicos. Así que no sé si terminar ya hoy el directo ya. No sé qué hacer, gente. Terminamos hoy. Y la gente es como es, tío. ¿Y qué esperas con 4.000 suscriptores que tengo? La gente se pasan, se van y ya está. Yo creo que vamos a hacer eso. El lunes, no sé, voy a grabar una hora. Ya, este juego ya no lo voy a volver a subir porque en gameplay ni siquiera me lo ve nadie. Pero este juego ya se ha acabado, ¿sabéis? Así os lo digo. Me voy a grabar el otro, el de Unlock. Para mañana lo tendréis. Un capítulo. El martes empiezo a grabar el Kena por la noche y por la mañana lo tendréis. Y así, chicos, lo siento en el alma, pero la gente lo quiere así, tío, y así se va, Así que nada, chicos, muchas gracias a todos por haberos pasado. Ya lo voy a dejar, ya estoy harto del directo, que queréis que os diga. Y luego dicen que por qué me van mal los directos. Dímelo tú, si hay 3 personas y 2 de ellas soy yo. Bueno, gente, pues nada, muchas gracias a todos por haber estado ahí. Nos vemos. Se acabaron los directos ya. Chao. No, sí. ¿Qué te pasa, Shiro? Sí, tío, esto es así. Un saludo, machote. Que te vaya bien, no, me puedes ver siempre y luego en los gameplay, machote. Un saludo a todos. Ya se acabaron, ya hasta que no tengamos, yo que sé, 8.000 o 9.000 o yo que sé, o 10.000 o ya no, ya es que ya estoy harto ya. El directo, tío, es para la gente que tiene suscriptores. Esto no atina bien, chicos. Así que venga, nos vemos, que paséis un buen día, una buena tarde. Y nada, lo dicho. Un saludo, chicos. Chao. Hasta luego. Nos ha metido